JD Fantasy Football.
He is starting Geno Smith over Jordan Love, and I hate this on so many levels.
Then Joe Flacco comes in like he does, with his cape on.
All right, welcome to JD Fantasy Football. This is David Lamson. I'm joined, as usual, by the expert, the great, the one, the only, Jordan Cordova. Jordan, how's California today?
Not too bad. A little bit chilly. Had to put the heater on for the first time. We're in November, so by chilly, I know down in Utah, it's not the same chilly. Like by chilly, I mean like 55 degrees. But yeah, a little bit chilly up here. But overall, pretty good. How about you, Dave? How's it going down there in Alabama?
Well, things are pretty good. It's college football season down here, so people are pretty much bananas about that. But obviously, last night the boxing match was the thing that everyone was talking about. So I think everything took backseat to that crazy event last night.
Yeah, that event was. You know what? Weirdly enough, I come out of that event with a little more, even though it was a very good con, but like I came out of that event with like a very much like a little respect for Jake Paul because he probably could have killed Mike Tyson in that ring with how old he was. That dude, he was as stiff as a board, just standing there. If Jake Paul wanted to take the time, you could tell in the ring where he was just staring there, like just standing there staring at him. You're like, yeah, he's ready to unload on. He could just unload on this guy and it would be lights out. So I came out with a little more respect. Plus, the two fights before that were so amazing. And I actually thought the Netflix production of it was pretty well done. HBO Max, you're not looking at that girl's eyelid just hanging there that up close and personal. Maybe could have done with a little less. Like it was every chance they got. And somebody had to go to her in that interview and be like, hey, I think we might need to get you to a doctor. Like she's just sitting there in an interview with her eyelid just pretty much hanging on for dear life. It's like you're going to get an infection in that thing.
Yeah, my wife was eating beef stew and she could not eat the beef part of it because she was watching that meat hang off that girl's face. Very concerned it was going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, hell of a fight, the first two. And man, I mean, obviously, who's the league that's putting that together? MVP boxing or something?
Yeah.
I don't know who that is, but they did a decent job. But it was obviously they were controlling every bit of that fight. And my wife watched the interview with Mike Tyson afterwards and said it was the saddest interview she's ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Mike Tyson's not that guy. Like the funny thing is like when they were talking, not even just the interview, but when they were talking back and forth immediately after the match, you could tell Netflix or whoever was producing it they were really trying to give Mike the opportunity to be like, give hope to the 60, 58, 60-year-olds. And Mike's just not that guy. They're like, what would you like to say to the people who are 60 years old and wants to do this? He's like, good luck. It's like they were ready for him to make this deep speech. It's like you got the wrong guy to make something like that. He is not saying very much. So
yeah, I saw the list of potential next fights for Jake Paul, and it wasn't good. I saw Joe Biden. I saw Jimmy Carter. I saw some rough guys on that list.
Jake Paul going into a senior citizen center and just roughing everyone up. That's the next.
That would be a problem child for sure. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm gonna debut something for you today, Jordan. Here it goes.
The injury report.
Love that, jamming with that. But on that note, welcome to the injury report here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start off with a pretty notable tight end here. His name is George Kittle. He is questionable and limited, but turns out he is probably expected to play. I don't know at what limitation. but he is expected to play this week. Isaiah Pacheco is not expected to play this week, but is active. So he could be ready to roll as soon as next week. So sorry to all of our Kareem Hunt owners. Your time has come to an end. Sorry, RIP. Next one is Harrison Butker. We're going to bring a kicker into this section. Harrison Butker out on the IR with his left knee, already had surgery on it. I've actually already picked up the backup, and right now, without looking at it, couldn't even tell you his name. But Harrison Butker is out with IR, so probably for the fantasy playoff purposes, he's probably not going to get back in time for that. Dalton Kincaid is out this week with a injury as far as with it, so he will not be expected to play. Sam Laporta with an AC joint injury is also day-to-day, but has already been ruled out. So a lot of tight ends this week, Dave, we have on the injury report. George Kittle, Dalton Kincaid, Sam Laporta, some big names. Let's see what people have to play in order to kind of fill that gap in their lineups there.
Yeah, it's fortunately there have been a lot of breaking out stars in the tight end group in the last few weeks, so pretty much everyone will be able to find somebody.
Yeah, you're going to play your Tucker Crafts this week. You're going to play there's a few of them that you're going to kind of plug and play into these situations. But the last one I did want to mention, and congratulations to the wide receiver one back from injury, Nico Collins. He should be playing this week. I think he comes in with no designation. He's fully healthy, so I don't think there's any limitation, and hopefully he comes back and kind of continues on as the wide receiver he was before he got his hamstring injured.
I was just hoping to see Christian McCaffrey back on it. I don't see him on the injury report.
Unfortunately for you.
Kind of hoping he would to have a setback or something.
Yeah, no, it turns out that Achilles tendonitis did not flare up after game one. So
and they
maybe whatever he did at Germany, whatever they did at Germany, they're working some magic over there.
Eating that Wiener Schnitzel over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I think that he played 90-something% of snaps.
Yeah. Yeah, they worked him in really nice.
I mean, they worried about pitch count. My goodness.
And you could tell when he was coming out, he was pissed. Like you could tell, like he was like visually upset about coming out of the game anytime. And then, I think Kyle Shanahan also said like once the fourth quarter, it was like we needed him in the fourth quarter. He wasn't coming out of that game.
And he didn't
sit out a single play. Yeah. So looks like there was no setbacks. Kind of scary for the league on Lex's part to go 7-3 and now have Christian McCaffrey at full force is
my goodness.
It could be a scary team.
My goodness. Well, I'm just gonna go into sleep. I got a sleeper. For this week, man.
Gosh, tell me we don't have the same one.
We do, because we both tried to pick him up off of.
Damn it! I have it. Dang it! That was gonna be mine.
So I'm interested to hear what you say about him. But this is, I don't have a lot of, just a little bit of data really, but I don't have a ton of faith. I think he is like a dark horse sleeper. So I can't spell his name, but his name is Audric Estime. Estime. But he could be a breakout for this Denver team. So last week, and the source of all this positivity is he got 14 touches last week. He still didn't score a ton of points, but they faced the Falcons this week. Weaker run defense, but it's still a crowded running back room, and it's not like 100% that Javonte Williams, who hasn't made himself a clear number one, and Jaleel McLaughlin, who's been more of a gadget guy. I mean, Estime seems to have more pop, more yards per carry. He could take over this week and be a flex option in deeper leagues. That's where I put Estime.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he led all teams 14 carries with 53 yards, almost a 4 yard per carry, which is more than most teams are getting from their running backs when they play the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
So a tough game, rival game, right? Like they were in it the whole game. So it's actually showing that it's like this isn't like inflated by garbage time where they were just like, we want to save or rest somebody. It seems like Sean Payton is really interested. And before he got injured and when he got back from injury, they were saying that they were going to get Audric Estime there and he was going to get him some time. But it looks like he's probably taken over at this point for the lead position. Now we'll see this week what happens. And like I said, it's not like I'm saying he's a sleeper because he scored an immaculate amount of points. But that Denver team is getting better and better, and they are desperate for a lead running back at that point. So I'm with you. My sleeper is also Audric Estime. He's another Notre Dame running back. Let's go. Him and Kyron Williams, huh?
Okay. Well,
just breed him over there at the Irish.
He's been up and down for me this year.
But yeah, so who is your boom for this week?
All right, man. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
Justin Herbert.
Okay.
He's a good-looking guy, 6'6", great QB in college, and he's looked like he can be the guy at times in his career so far. The first 6 weeks of this season, 10 fantasy points per game. You know what, Caleb? I'm trying to talk about freaking Justin Herbert right now. I know he wants to chime in on the chat, but I'm talking about Herbert. Anyway, so the first 6 weeks of the season, he averaged 10 fantasy points per game. He wasn't 100%. His doubters got loud, and the Chargers kept charging, as they say. Not a great offense, near the bottom of the league in big plays. Jim Harbaugh arrives and establishes a winning culture. And it's just taken just a little bit of time to get going. Herbert got healthy, and he's been as good as anyone in the league. He's got Ladd McConkey blossoming. J.K. Dobbins basically revived. He's averaging 16 fantasy points per game, 15, 17 touches per game, but no one else really but Dicker the kicker. I mean, it's not like this all-star cast that's surrounded by Justin Herbert. His breakout game was Arizona. He threw for 350 yards. His performance against Tennessee was a huge test. And he's been 4-1 since the bye week. Now, Cincinnati will be a test for this team, but not in the passing category. Herbert is going to shine in this primetime game. Maybe we'll see the Chargers super fan. Do you remember that lady? Chargers super fan? Anyway, Harbaugh calls him, Herbert, half man, half beast. And the Chargers have the 22nd strength of schedule remaining with the Raiders, Bengals, Falcons, and Ravens. All these Herbert should do fine against. He will have plenty of booms the rest of the season. Stats. He's been efficient. He hasn't passed a ton. But ever since that bye week, his legs have been going. Look out for Justin Herbert the rest of the year.
Love that pick. Who doesn't love themselves some Herbie? He is a great quarterback. But for my boom this week, I am going with Chase Brown. Last two games without Zach Moss, he has had 25 plus touches. They did pick up Khalil Herbert, and Khalil Herbert did get one touch, a fumble, picked it up, and never saw the field again. So it doesn't seem like they're using him. Maybe that chips into him with another week of being on the team. But 25 plus touches on. He has a touchdown in 4 of the last 5 games. He's averaging 25 points per game, not just 25 plus touches. So he's scary. I mean, he got 9 receptions last game and 5 before that. So without Zach Moss there, he is getting catches. He's getting touches. He's running people over. He's getting in the end zone. He is having himself a pretty good year now that he has blossomed with Zach Moss not being there. So my boom for this week is Chase Brown.
Okay. Chase Brown is someone that I think that a lot of guys want to believe in. Just hasn't been everything they've wanted to be so far, at least week to week.
Yeah, I agree. But I think since Zach Moss has been gone, we're kind of getting the Chase Brown we were hoping for and expecting at the beginning of the year for when we thought hopefully not an injury, but as far as like hoping that he would take over that backfield at some point from Zach Moss. So,
Well, speaking of bus, I'm not going to say Zach Moss, but I'm going to go to a different running back, and that's Zamir White. Listen, Zamir White, it seems
Zamir
silly
who?
now. It seems silly at this point in the season, but he was drafted in the 6th round. He was drafted between DeAndre Swift and James Conner. Like, those are the 3 picks in a row. And Zamir White. And, he was supposed to be the number 1 with Josh Jacobs leaving the Raiders, going to Titletown. Instead, he's busted just about every week. His coach says he still believes in him, but he's not getting a bunch of touches. He has more fumbles than touchdowns. So he's the clear number 2 to Madison, who hasn't produced much either. From where people thought he'd be to where he is, absolute bust.
Yeah, that was a super bust. Got taken over on that. Jalen Waddle is who I have this week as my bust. He's I know everyone thought that I'd come in here and bash Anthony Richardson for another week because why is he in the game? But that's a whole nother conversation. I'm done beating that horse. So I am going with Jalen Waddle this week. He is only averaging 8.5 fantasy points a game. He is wide receiver 62 as of right now.
Yeah.
Until he's showing that he can be useful, he is unplayable. He's almost droppable at this point. He's averaging 4 targets a game, and in the last 4 games, he's the most of his points from the last game was from his first possession where he got 2 receptions for like 53 yards and then caught 1 more ball after that. He also in that game had a ball. It's nighttime, so it's not like you have the cowboy excuse of, the sun coming through and hitting you in the eyes. He had a ball that went through his hands, hit him in the face mask, then dropped to the ground on a wide open catch. Ever since then, Tua didn't throw him the ball, so it was kind of like that's where you lose faith in him. It's not like that Miami offense is popping right now in particular. They're just not doing great. Their defense is keeping them in games right now, and they're doing enough with Devon Achane and company. But like Washington, who is Washington? And he's the one who's getting the running touchdown. You have a top speed guy in Tyreek Hill, and you're telling me there's another receiver touching that ball for a touchdown for a running game in the running game. It's just not a good team right now. Or they are a good team. Weirdly enough, they're winning, but their offense is not great. So Jalen Waddle for me is a bust for not just this week, but until he can show that he can do something other than get 4 targets.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a matter of time until him and Tua figure it out because they clearly had a connection before. Yeah, but it's just not working right now.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like you have 2 of the quickest people the whole year. You're like, Tua's coming back, and Tua's back, and it still does not. It just something happened where it just snapped, and it was just like, all right, well, we're just not an amazing offense anymore.
Yeah, their offense really has not evolved a ton. It looks very similar. Achane. Tyreek's production down a little bit, but really that's just connection in time. Like I don't know what's going on with Waddle, but he has been a bust for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So should we get to our first matchup this week?
Yeah.
All right. I think we should start here. I think a good place to start would be with myself, my game. I am playing Josh this week.
Hold up here.
Yeah, no worries. I am excited about this week. I get an opportunity to take the number 1 team in the league right now down after a week that you went in and took the number 1 team down. Mind you, you probably could have done it with 3 players with the way his week was last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but for me, I do want to talk about a few people. I did make a trade this week with my wife. I traded Deebo Samuels and Bo Nix to her for Josh Jacobs and David Njoku. So, we both I needed a tight end this week. She needed a quarterback. So it's kind of a wash. Josh Jacobs for Debo Samuels, I think, is pretty even. I like the pick because I am very low. I have plenty of receivers: Cedric Tillman, Cortland Sutton, Josh Down. There's a few that I have. So I don't have enough. Like, my backup running back is Javonte Williams. So essentially not great, as we just talked about with Audric Estime. But he is on a good streak. He's been averaging around 20 points a game in the last 3 games. Even though his last game was like a 13-point game, he still got a 27 before that, a 20 before that. So he's had some good one. Now, Chicago is a hard defense, but I think he can still get his, and they'll be up in this game. I don't think I have a lot of confidence in that offense. So they're probably going to be in the script of running the ball a lot this game. So I think Josh Jacobs will be have himself a stellar game this week, as well as with Cortland Sutton, who has scored 19 points, 19.12 points, 25.28, and 19 points in the last week. It seems like him and Bo Nix are starting to really build that chemistry, and Bo Nix is getting really comfortable in the pocket throwing. So he's also gone over 100 yards in the last 2 of those 3 games, and he's averaging about 10 targets a game in those last 3 games. So they're really having this connection. I don't think the matchup is particularly great for them this week, but I think that Cortland Sutton is going to still continue to have good weeks, and that's only for the mere fact that him and Bo Nix are starting to get that connection, and there's not a lot of people to throw to. I'm not sure if you've seen the receiving core for the Denver Broncos, but Cortland Sutton's definitely one of the only names that you knew before the year started.
Yeah, Cortland, just last few weeks has been doing a lot better, and I mean, he's a great ball catcher. I think Bo Nix is just he's got to take less time with his grandkids and more time with Cortland Sutton. So
yeah. But I got myself winning this week. I know that's hard to say last week was rough. I lost by 1 point. I got 5 points from, Jaden Daniels, 8 points from Saquon Barkley. I got 1 touchdown last week for my whole team. He got 6, and I lost by 1 point. So if I'd have gotten anything from there, Jalen Hurts, if the tush push wasn't a thing, they should legalize that thing. Someone's going to get hurt in that pile. I say that as a Saquon Barkley owner.
Well, let's see. Saquon's, it's kind of been a statement season for him.
Oh, yeah. Having one of the best seasons. New York Giants are just kicking themselves in the butt for not keeping Saquon Barkley.
There you are, Jordan. Well, I mean, the Giants appear to not know what they're doing. There's a place in New York City where the Titanic was supposed to land. Mm-hmm. There's like this small pier that they've constructed that was waiting specifically for the Titanic, and when it sunk, they just left it there, so you can still visit it today. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of Daniel Jones' career. Like, I think they're still waiting for Daniel Jones to arrive, and as long as they've hitched their wagon to him, they're in trouble.
Oh, I think Daniel Jones will be gone by I'd be surprised if he makes it through the rest of the year, but I definitely think he'll be gone by next year. That they will get a quarterback in this draft. I'm just hoping that the Cowboys drop low enough that we can get Ashton Gentry. Let's go.
Okay. Well, I just had one thought really about Josh's team, and it's an interesting one. Is Mel Kiper right? Should 2 safeties be banned in the NFL? Because that is how Justin Jefferson basically got handcuffed last week by the Jaguars. 2 high safeties. They hadn't really played much of that all year, and they brought that defense against him. And the Titans are a tough defense. I would not expect them to do anything different than to bring 2 high safeties against Justin Jefferson. When he is doubled, his targets and his yards per reception go down. I don't expect the teams to hold him down every week, but it just seems like a winning formula for any team. If you can limit Justin Jefferson, you can win that game like the Jags did. So that's not good news for Josh. I don't have Josh winning. You've had a hot start with Saquon, and I really don't. Just looking down his lineup, maybe D Hop. Gosh, I hope Jordan Love. But yeah, he's got a decent team, but like it's Hunter Henry. Come on. So yeah, it's gonna be a rough week for old Joshy here.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, especially if Jefferson can't produce against the Titans, which is a possibility.
A possibility.
I'm not saying it's going to
absolutely.
happen, but I think it's a possibility.
Absolutely. I agree 100% with you on that one.
All right. Let's move on to Taylor's matchup here against Ben. Taylor, I mean, come on. So I'm going to read you a list, and you tell me what these guys have in common, okay, Jordan?
Mm-hmm.
We've got CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Chris Olave, and as of Thursday night, Terry McLaurin. What do those guys have in common?
They're all number one receivers for a team.
They absolutely are, and they were all shut down by Quinyon Mitchell. He's a rookie who Terry said after the game doesn't play like a rookie. He shut Terry down. Got 2 points for Taylor. Since week 3, Scary Terry has been an absolute machine. He's been a reliable wide receiver 5 this season. He's had 5 weeks of 98 yards or more, 6 touchdowns. Unfortunately, the Eagles disrupted everything the Commanders tried to do. It was a frustrating game for any Eagles fan, and it resulted in only 2 points this week. The bad news for me is that next week the Eagles play Cooper Kupp.
Ooh.
So Quinyon Mitchell is going to come my way next week. Anyway, he's a rookie. He's kicking butt, and that's just bad news for Taylor. And that's why he is going to lose to Ben this week, which is crazy.
Yeah, 100%. I have Ben winning this one as well for 2 reasons. One, George Pickens. Dude comes out 11. Now, Russ, the return of the Russ. He has just been on a heater in this game. He's had about 5 catches a game, 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Him and Russ only seem like they are getting stronger, getting a connection together. Russ knows how to throw the ball accurately downfield. That's what Pickens is great at. And some of the catches that Pickens has just shows why he is just an absolute superstar in this team, given the opportunity. So George Pickens is on a heater. I think that's one of the reasons he'll win. The other one is that his star receiver is back. DK Metcalf will be playing this week. He was the main target with no less than 7 targets and more, and as much as 12 to 13 targets the last 4 games. And Geno has to be excited to get him back. Smith and Jigbo just came off a game where he had 39 points or something like that, some major points. So DK Metcalf is obviously the highest target on this team. So I think him coming back does boost that wide receiver core for him. So for those reasons, I am taking him. Really wish I could see anybody else other than Jared Goff playing. But unfortunately, that would mean that you would need Anthony Richardson, who's on his bench. And we all know how I feel about Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, we can take a week off from bashing Anthony Richardson for sure.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to get too much into it on the bus or here, because people are going to just think I'm a hater, which I kind of am.
Yeah. Obviously.
But okay, so move on to Finkel and Caleb, right? Daniel and Caleb.
Tell me about Caleb. Caleb, I think he can.
Caleb, love the team. Lamar Jackson, we've already talked about him being the number 1 quarterback in the league, so I'm not going to go ahead and keep going on that. So the first thing I'm going to mention, and one of the things that really worry me about Caleb's team, is Tyreek Hill. Guy who was in conversation as wide receiver 1 to start this season, should have been, he was top 1 or 2 receivers picked in the draft for a reason. He in the week 1 he got like a top 5 receiver, but since then he has been doing terrible. I mean, it's been very like low scoring games. Even with Tua back, he hasn't been scoring. He's been pretty pedestrian throughout the time. He's going to be hard to play every week. You're going to play him because he's Tyreek Hill, but unless he busts off a 70, 80-yard game like he used to do previously, he's kind of hard to play at this point. So Tyreek Hill really scares me for the remainder of the season unless somehow they get that mojo back. The one thing I do like from Caleb's team, though, is Tony Pollard. Outside of a nice, hard Chargers defense that he was, they played last week, he's been getting 19 to 29 touches in a game. He is the go-to guy there. Spears is almost not a factor in that team anymore. He gets receptions. He runs the ball. I think he's going to have himself a good week against Minnesota this week. So I do like Tony Pollard for him this week, being a difference maker as far as with it. But this is also a really, really close game. But overall, I think I might take Finkel's team out, even though he started a little bit rough.
Yeah.
No, I take that back. I'm sorry. I didn't even see. I'll let you talk about it. I didn't see his running back situation. I will take Caleb's team this week to win this week.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I understand. Caleb's got some difficult decisions this week, but unfortunately, Daniel he's got Tyrone Tracy on bye. He's got Chuba Hubbard on bye, and he's going with good old RB61 Zeke Elliott. Look, Zeke looks like a zombie of the player he used to be for the team. I mean, the whole Cowboys team has got the body language of Napoleon Dynamite. Jerry Jones said this week that Zeke, they're not living in the past. I mean, the sun is getting to everyone in Dallas. Zeke is closer to ringing the bell in front of an HEB than scoring a touchdown and jumping into the Salvation Army kettle. The fans are fed up. It's getting real loud in Dallas. And look, Daniel is hoping for a miracle. Do you know what an HEB is?
No.
It's like it's a grocery store in Texas that they love.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't like Daniel's team this week. He's been 49er heavy, and it's been good for him a lot of the year. Jamar Chase has been just an absolute beast. Joe Mixon,
he won in the week last week by himself.
Yeah, but this is not the week. Yeah, I don't like Jamar Chase against the Chargers. Don't know what kind of production you're going to get out of Kittle. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got Caleb this week for sure. But
nice.
Speaking of things that I like, I'm gonna move over and talk about Cam's team. Oh my God, Cam! Cam has been just demoralized this whole season. But like, give me your team, man. Give me Nick Chubb. I mean, come after a. Are you kidding me? Give me Nick Chubb against the New Orleans Saints. Give me Puka Nacua. I mean, come on. Like, what do we need to do? Give me Brock Bowers. I mean, Brock Bowers has had double digits the last 5 weeks. Give me Pat Mahomes in the primetime against the Bills defense. Come on. I mean, I know that Pat Mahomes, he hasn't, like, their team isn't covering. I looked at it right before we got on. He's 4-4-1 against the spread. So they're just barely winning games. But still, Cam, you've scored a bunch of points this year. You have not won yet. I got you this week against the Bears. You can do it, man.
I also have Cameron this week against the Bears.
Let's go.
Cammy Lammy, get that dub. All right. So I think that this year I am actually a hater of the trade that happened this week. I think the Bears lost out in this trade. He gave up Kenneth Walker III, who I think is an absolute beast, for Breece Hall. Breece Hall is not the player he used to be, even 4 games ago. He's averaging about 11 points per game, which is not what you expect from your top player in the draft there. This Jets team is just bad. They are just bad. They don't know who they want to be, what Jets team are you going to get any given week, right? Do you get the Jets teams that's going to win a game, or are you going to get a Jets team that's just going to get blown out by New England, right? Like, not blown out. That's no understatement, but lose to New England, who is a significantly bad team. So Breece Hall for me is a question. He does have Nico Collins coming back. Of course, with Cammy's luck, he would have Nico Collins coming back this week. But he's finally back. He has been hurt since week 5, and he still has more points than Tyreek Hill has on the whole season.
Oh my
And he is a wide receiver 1. He's good to come back, and he's going to be he could just continue his stellar year. It's not like they were showing Stephon Diggs is out now. He's the guy to throw to in that team. So Nico Collins could be a difference maker, but I am also believing in the Cam train.
RIP Cam, he's been eliminated from the playoffs at this point. I mean, what did it come down to? Was it coaching? Was it the players? Was it the trades? Like, who do we fire the GM? Like, what do we do for Cam's team next year?
Yeah, I mean, not even the trade though, right? Like AJ Brown to Devontae Adams. Like, it's not like AJ Brown got 11 points this week, so it's not like he's really out there just slinging or getting the ball a ton. He got injured for a while there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just yeah, man, rough times. Weirdly enough, I talked to Cam the other day, and I somehow through forces, I have both of Cameron's starting running backs right now. I traded him for James Conner earlier in the year, and I traded for Josh Jacobs from my wife yesterday. So some weird way, I have both of his running backs. So it could have been dirty. Some of the trades that he went through, but yeah, it was I still think Cam's got it in him. I think he's going to take the dub this week.
Did you put Cameron? Did you threaten him with concrete shoes or something? Like, how
I did. I told him I was coming for his niece. It's like, you switch my wife, and to make it so it's not suspicious, I'm going to trade her in 2 weeks. All right, but you trade her right now. So I don't know. It's a weird situation. I can't even remember who the trade was for Josh Jacobs. I can't remember who she gave up to him.
Well, shoot.
So I think it might have been a quarterback of some sort, maybe. Oh, Mike Evans. Yeah, she gave up Mike Evans for
it.
Now coming your way, the matchup of the week.
We got the matchup of the week, and the stakes couldn't be any higher for me against your wife with an Indian name.
I just call her Shiva. I never go any further.
I have studied this person all week. The stakes couldn't be higher, and I could not have had a slower start, because obviously Harrison Butker decided to go up and screw up his leg. And yeah, it's instead of doing the smart thing, getting the backup, I was like, hey, not the Redskins, the Commanders score a bunch of points, I'll get their kicker. And they put themselves in 2-point conversion situations and lost that game. So yeah, that it is a bad start for me. Yeah, it's okay. Here's the deal. I got to start Aaron Rodgers this week, which is not good.
No,
it's not good. Aaron Jones got hurt in the middle of last game, so he's not 100%. Kyren Williams plays New England, middle of the road. We'll see. CeeDee Lamb. I mean, are they putting up the drapes or what? Like, what are we doing?
Actually, I saw a picture of the drapes today when they were in AT&T Stadium for.
I don't need that light in his eyes. Okay. All right, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's been solid. I got to play Jake Ferguson because my K Dalton's on a bye. Kamara. Yeah, they go up against Cleveland, so let's see how that goes. And yeah, my kicker got me 5 points, which was awesome. So I'm in trouble.
You have to play two Cowboys players?
Dude, this is a total dogfight this week, and I am sick about it. I'm just gonna sit there on Sunday and just I don't know. I don't pray a lot, but there might be a lot of prayers said. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna be staring at Christian McCaffrey's legs the whole time, like, please break.
Please
Please
break.
break.
Something happened to him.
Yes. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Yeah, so I mean, you're projected to win by 0.5 now with that 5-point game. I'm sorry, Dave. On this one, I am taking my wife to win this one. Multiple reasons here. Christian McCaffrey, what a stud. She got Bo Nix. He has gotten 14, 13, 27 points in the last 3 weeks. He is running the ball quite a bit as well. So he's getting points through there. So that's a fantastic, alternative to happen Baker Mayfield on a bye this week. She is also playing Deebo Samuels was the trade. He had 2 back-to-back rough weeks, but even in those rough weeks, his floor is about 13 points. Unless he has pneumonia, then he will give you 0. I know that. So, or was it bronchitis or something like that?
He had pneumonia. He was in the hospital.
Pneumonia. Yeah. So, understandable fluids in the lungs. I guess you can give, poor guy. At least he gave it a shot. But he's really a touchdown away in some of these games from being a 20-point scorer anyways. And that's, I think that he can be a factor there. But James Cook's going up against Kansas City. I think that's for me, James Cook is the X factor of this whole game. If he gets 15 plus points against Kansas City, I think she beats you. If he gets 10 or below, I think you will beat her. But I'm really worried about you, Dave, because trust me, as a Cowboys fan, it's not looking great. And it sounds like Cooper Rush is the one who's starting this week. We are not taking the chance on Trey Lance. So, yeah, I don't know. It looked bad last week, and I didn't see any hope of it changing from there.
Yeah, I'm just absolutely sick. I have a chance. If the Vikings can get out front early, Aaron Jones might get 20-something touches, and just put the game away, and that could really do some good for me. But yeah, really tough teams these other guys are playing, and Aaron Rodgers just looks about as good as Mike Tyson right now. So it's not good for me.
Yeah, TJ Hawkinson, full-time player. Zay Flowers, tearing it up. Broncos D was a great pickup, and Jake Bates. So I think she has Smith and Jigba as well coming off a huge week. So it's going to be a hard week for you this week. But this is definitely the play or the game of the week. I think this will be a phenomenal game by the end of it. Which one of you have a Monday nighter? Which one of you have a Monday nighter? You do. So it's going to come down to Jake Ferguson and CeeDee Lamb on Monday night. It's going to make you sick all Sunday night, all Monday day.
Something's got to happen to make that. So I'm having trouble with the YouTube chat.
What's going on?
I don't know. It's like it's like offering me the chat, but it's not really there.
Oh, gotcha.
So I can't hear from Caleb. It's very frustrating.
Yeah. But our next one is what? The Mahomes for Skip?
Yeah.
So I'm taking Skip to win it this week. I just think he has a little bit more. One of my primary reasons for this, the reason I like Mahomes' team is because he's got Kenneth Walker III now. He's had a rough last 2 weeks before the bye, but he's getting receptions. He's had 85 touches or 28 touches in the last game. He's a beast. I think he's going to turn it around even against San Francisco. I'd rather Kenneth Walker III than Breece Hall from the rest of the season perspective. But the reason I think he's going to lose is because even with T. Higgins in there, he still has to play Mike Williams. Keon Coleman is on the IR. Dalton Kincaid is out for the week. So luckily he has Tucker Kraft to replace him for that. But you have to play Mike Williams this week. Jaden Reed is on a team that any of those receivers could pop off, even though he is the number one guy there. It's not like he's playing every week, outstanding numbers. Last 3 weeks, 18, 7, 3, right? Like he can be a boom bust type of player there. So even though Devon Achane could have a stellar week against Las Vegas, San Francisco, or Kenneth Walker can have a good week, I think receiver wise is where he will fall short this week.
Yeah, I do have Skip winning. Skip's been on a tear. Both of us have 3, and we're basically competing for the last spot in the playoffs. And he has just won. I mean, I've won once dominantly, but he's done really well. Skip's done a really good job with his team. The trouble is, you already mentioned injuries. Kareem Hunt. This might be Kareem Hunt's last week where he gets the touches. I mean, he's getting 20 plus touches a game. He had 14 touches against Denver, but he added 10 receiving touches, so targets. So he's been getting his, but that's going to be over with Pacheco. Pacheco is a really hard runner. They love him on that team. He's impossible to tackle. So yeah, that's going to be tough for Skip starting next week. But this week he's got Kareem Hunt against Buffalo. Josh Allen. He's got Josh Allen against Pat Mahomes in the regular season. Josh Allen is 3-1 against Pat Mahomes. Josh is going to win this game. His mobility and the Chiefs' middle of the road pass defense, Josh Allen is going to do just fine. He should have 300 yards and a couple touchdowns. That's what he's been getting. But when I say that, Jordan, I fall victim to one of the 3 classic blunders. The 3 classic blunders are, first of all, forgetting sunglasses in Cowboy Stadium, obviously. Second one is challenging Jake Paul in your 50s. And the third one is betting against Mahomes. I won't do it. Feels like the team of destiny. Josh Allen will get some points for Skip, but I still take the Chiefs and Taylor Swift with their new kicker.
I think NFL script says that the Chiefs will win this week and the Panthers will win this week. Bryce Young will go the week after and beat the Chiefs to prove himself in this league.
Why is it that when the Chiefs come up, everyone starts talking about just how scripty? Yeah, I mean, it's why I thought about bringing it up earlier when we were talking. It's just like, why? What about the Chiefs?
They get the Tom Brady, they get the Michael Jordan effect. Like every play, it's like not all penalties, but like you can tell they're definitely penalties where it's like, yeah, that definitely favored you guys hardcore. Like breathing in Patrick Mahomes' face will get you a personal foul, roughing the passer. So that's why people say it, I think.
Yeah, but I still feel like their offense isn't dominant. It's not like they really get what they want all the time. Their defense is how they're winning, and it's hard to ref defense winning. I don't know how you really do that other than calling false starts and like the center moving the ball weird. Like there's a few things they can do.
Well, the first week, didn't they do wasn't it Monday night against the Ravens and the first 3 plays were illegal formations?
Yeah, they
and there's another 4 of that as well.
It was almost like why didn't they tell the teams they were going to do this?
Right, like out of nowhere, it's just like every play illegal formation. But they didn't call one on the Chiefs, and there's just a few plays. Like I think last week it was the touchdown, or it was the week before they had a touchdown to win the game, right? And it was obvious when you look at the replay. The lineman for the Chiefs is jumping almost 2 yards back before the ball's even snapped. And it's like, oh, no call there. Got it.
That's been a theme this season, though. On the last play of every game, refs are swallowing that whistle.
Joe Burrow got a face mask against the Ravens that last game, or the PI when they were tackling some dude in the end zone.
Sam Darnold got his face raked off on a last play.
Mm-hmm.
In the end zone.
Just, I get it. You don't want to call calls to affect the game, but some of those calls are necessary to call.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think that's everyone.
Yeah, exciting matchups. Look, the league is, I mean, the standings are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the week. I think we'll see this is the week where we separate the men from the boys here.
Mhm.
Yeah, so right now it says I have a 55% chance of making the playoffs. On the other app that I'm in, it has me as a 17% chance. Just because Skip has done so well and he's boxing me out. Obviously, Cam's out. Mahomes, Burmai Rice, he's probably out. Ben's probably out. So what? Am I going to catch Taylor? Taylor's got a decent team. Who am I going to catch? The
Well,
Bears, maybe.
you have to catch Skip because it's only the top 4 of your division that goes in. So even if Taylor may have a better record than you, but if you have a better record than Skip, you'll make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you
right
just
now,
got to get Skip.
Skip or the Bears. I can
Skip
get
or
the
the
Bears.
Bears.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough, but yeah, Skip's got that last seat right now, and he just keeps winning. So
Yeah, but I mean, what's his schedule look like the rest of the year here? If we take a look at his full schedule, he's got Mahomes this week, which we think's a win, but then he plays Josh, then he plays Lex, then he plays Chipmunk. All 3
that's a tough
losable
schedule.
games, right?
Yeah, that's
Compared
true.
to the Bears, who do you have the next 3 weeks?
I've got a tough schedule.
You have
I do have Cam
Tay.
again.
So you play my wife this week, then you play Tay,
Yeah.
Daniel, who we talked about receiving problems, and Cameron. So I think you have a good chance of making it this year.
But it just comes down to my team performing, which they really haven't done. I think they've only scored over 133 times this season. So it's just been boom or bust from my team. Seems like everyone sucks or everyone's good. So
yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what is my schedule like. Do I have a tough schedule? I'm trying to hope that I got through the tough part of my schedule. I play the number 1 team this week. Oh, then I play my wife again tomorrow or next week. Then Tay, then Daniel. So I can get some revenge on Daniel for beating me. He beat me good a few weeks
Look out
ago,
for your wife, man, going into the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I don't want to face her.
She's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. We're trying to make it a Cordova final, so we know the trophy's coming to California no matter what.
So Jordan, I'm gonna I'm gonna end the Spotify recording. Appreciate everyone listening. Catch us on TikTok, catch us on YouTube. Getting more and more content in there every day. So if you want to hear the highlights from each episode, certainly go there. Got some great ones there. And but yeah, catch us live, give us your questions, reach out to us through the socials, and we'll address it here. We did have something funny happen this week on socials. What was it?
Some guy say something to me.
Well, yeah, the one guy said that you said that Dak is a good playoff quarterback, which kind of sucks because you said he didn't. Like he didn't. You said he wasn't a good playoff quarterback, and he called you out on that. So you had to double down on saying that.
Double, yeah. Like, come on, man! Don't make me say it twice. It hurt the first time.
Yeah. So let's. Yeah, you just read. We do check the socials. We appreciate everyone talking to us, and if you have any start-sit questions, just let us know. But yeah, thanks, JD Fantasy Football.
Let's go. Peace out, guys.
So I'm gonna